Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. We have so much to cover today that I'm not even sure if we're going to have enough time, but we should have a lot of fun. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribed. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'm going to send you instant access to my free real estate training. It'll show you how to acquire properties for pennies on the dollar all across the country. You don't want to miss out on that offer. If you want to learn about the ride-along, the ride-along's coming up January 13th. Just click the links in the description. You can tap into some of the free trainings and book a call and get dialed into that ride-along. That's going to be action-packed. We have the Boots on the Ground program. We're still building, rental properties and just building houses for people. So if you want to do a buy and flip, if you want some rental properties to get some cash flow, make sure you tap into that Boots on the Ground program. Let's dive into a little bit of mindset. But like I said, there's a ton to cover. And I want to get into this. Process on no cash, no credit, because a lot of people will ask me, can you really do a deal with no cash, no credit? How does that look? We're going to break down a strategy that you guys can utilize for burnout landlords, motivated sellers. So you'll leave this, if you stick around, with an actual actionable strategy that you can utilize to start to get results. Let's get into mindset quickly, and then we'll kind of keep flowing. So with your mindset, the mindset that you want to have is that the game is over when I win. The game is not over when you're struggling, when you're trying to get a deal, when you're working on your fundamentals. You're building up your ability to analyze deals. You're building up your ability to do appraisals or to build construction budgets. You're building up your knowledge over the course of time. As you do that, you want to keep it locked in your mindset that it's only over when I win, when I get the deal, when I hit the goal. Don't give up on the journey during tough times when you're trying to build, because you can't necessarily see how you're going to grow from certain skill sets that you're adding to your game. You can't see it yet because you haven't iterated and achieved different levels within the game. If you're just doing your first deal, or if you're dreaming about scaling up to 10 deals, I want to do 10 deals in a year, or 20 deals in a year. What does that look like? The way to get there is to stick with it, because even if you're going through things like the 100 Keys Masterclass and you're learning different course content and ways to analyze deals and how to do market research or how to do zoning conversions, let me go from single to multi, let me blow the roof off and build up a level. You're starting to learn more advanced ways to think about real estate. You're getting better incrementally. And you only need to be maybe like 2% better than the competition in this business. If you're 2% better, you're going to get like 20, 30 X the results as an average person. So you have to stick with it. You have to know that the game is only over when you win. You don't need to put too much pressure on yourself even to get quick wins. You just want wins. You want to stack wins and have no losses. It's not about the quick win here. So even hey, I hopped in, I got a deal in 90 days, I'm crushing it, I'm cash flowing. That's good. But even if that took 6 months, still take the cash flow. Even if that took a year, still take the cash flow. Even if that took 2 years, still take the cash flow. Just keep pushing until you get what you want. Because once you get to the other side of the process, you will be able to do this 100 times. No one will be able to pull wool over your eyes or tell you anything different. You'll just understand the game and that you can knock this thing out of the park. I mean, that you can make money in real estate. And once you prove that to yourself, it's over. You no longer will even care about the speed of this process. You will just say, because it only feels long while you're going through the process if you're watching the clock. If you're not watching the clock and you're enjoying the process, once it clicks and you get your first deal, like our youngest mentee who I always talk about, Zion, he's like staring down a freaking 5-figure commission check. He's freaking 20 years old. The commission check could be more than, the year's age he has, right? In terms of 5 figures. And he's staring this down, but he puts in the work. He trusts the process and he keeps going. And he's an inspiration. He should be to all of us because he got in so young and just started attacking it. But he keeps me motivated, man. He keeps me on my toes because I know he's out there and he's implementing and iterating. And that's who you want to be. You just want to be the person who's really going all in on real estate, like putting a ring on real estate's finger, like getting down on one knee and proposing to real estate and going all in on this thing. Because if you do it, you're going to get what you want. If you half step it or get distracted or look for the other shiny object, you'll always run after that fool's gold. You'll never really get what you want out of this game. But if you stick with it, you'll get exactly what you want every time. So hopefully that helps. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, stay tapped in, share this content with somebody that'll get value. And I want to jump into this quick presentation so that we can walk you guys through this. The strategy we're going to talk about is wraparound mortgages. And this is a way that you can approach motivated sellers and give them a winning situation. If they're underwater on their mortgage, if they're struggling, you're going to give them a strategy where they can unlock more value from their property than they thought was ever possible. And you can acquire a property where you're going to be able to build some cash flow and not have to come out of pocket much, if anything at all. So why you should stick around is you're going to learn really how to invest, one of the strategies that we teach, but a good strategy for how to invest without cash or credit. We're going to discuss the benefits for the sellers as well. This is important because a lot of people ask me, well, why would a seller ever sell a property with the seller financing? Why would they do that? Why would they allow me to take over the property and just kind of leave the situation? Wouldn't they just know how to reposition the property? The answer is no, they don't. If they did, I actually was just talking to a guy who tapped into the mentorship program, and we were talking about how he could have saved the property that he inherited from his parents, and he just didn't because he didn't have the knowledge. And he's like, now knowing what you're even talking to me about right now, I could have repositioned my own family asset. And that's how powerful real estate knowledge is, and why it's not just about making money in the game. It's about truly learning this stuff, because it's a life skill and you're going to get to apply it. And then we're going to learn more about how mortgages work. What you must understand, hopefully by the end of this, is transactions like this happen every day. Every day. So they're called any day of the week deals. Any day of the week, you could call the right motivated seller, or get called or texted by the right motivated seller, people reaching out to you, and which will show you how to do that if you guys want to learn how to leverage the algorithm to get people contacting you. But they happen every day. So you don't have to worry, like, are deals like this out there? They're out there. There's millions of foreclosures every year. By the way, think about this. There are millions of foreclosures, and this is going to click in with the strategy. Millions of foreclosures, and 82% of the marketplace has a mortgage below a 5% rate. So on those foreclosures, you're going to get opportunities at this strategy to leverage a lower mortgage rates that are already existing. You don't even have to qualify with the bank. So you could still get your hands on a 4% mortgage with this strategy. You can do this on commercial deals. I've said it plenty, but sometimes these commercial deals are easier to do this stuff on. And you do have other no cash, no credit options. So we'll get into that. Let's break down mortgages quickly. And guys, as you have any questions as we're going through this, I'll kind of lean into the question. But I wanted to do something a bit more guided for us so we can truly grasp this concept. So drop your questions in the chat section, drop your comments in. Once again, share this with somebody who wants to learn how to invest without cash or credit, and maybe even thinks they can't, or they haven't found the right process. So breaking down a mortgage, you got to keep this stuff simple. If you make it too complex, it's going to intimidate you, and it doesn't need to. A mortgage is an agreement between you and a lender that gives the lender the right to take your property, ultimately, if you fail to make the required payments. That's it. Which means if you had a property, you could issue a mortgage to a buyer, somebody who was just came up to you and said, hey, I want to buy your house. Will you finance it to me? You could issue a mortgage and become the lender with your own property, even a distressed asset, believe it or not, or a property that was just inherited, as long as you know these concepts. So that's all a mortgage is. It's just a note. There's lien seniority that you need to have as fundamentals. So I talk about fundamentals all the time. This is a little bit of real estate fundamental knowledge. So there's lien seniority. So a senior lien, if you foreclose on it, will wipe out all junior liens. So you have at the top municipal liens, typically. That would be like your water bill that you didn't pay, got attached as a lien to the property, or your taxes. Your property taxes is usually what this is. And then you have your first position mortgage. And then you will have different positions. You could have a secondary mortgage, like a home equity line of credit is a secondary mortgage. You could have a third position. It could go on and on. And if you wipe out number one, so if you foreclose based on municipal liens, number 2, 3, and 4 get detached from the property. They get wiped out as a lien position on the property. And the asset can just transfer for the value of the municipal liens. So seniority and where your mortgage sits, it's just important to know, because once you know it, you start to understand that you can wrap a mortgage with a secondary mortgage. You understand the position of that mortgage and the security position that you would be in if you issue something like this. But it's important to just get into this level of knowledge. The more you learn this stuff, even if this is like makes no sense, you can go Google some of this stuff. You can, if you guys are in the program, you can, text me. We can talk about it on the one-on-one Zoom calls and just master these fundamentals, and you'll be able to get to additional levels. So a wraparound mortgage is a home loan between typically you and just a buyer, essentially. Anybody who wants to, or us, if we're the buyer, we might present this to somebody and say, hey, have you thought about wrapping your mortgage? And I can show you how to do that. This can solve your problem, and I'll take this property off your hands and take your headache away. So just understanding this gives you a little bit of power, but it's a home loan that allows the seller to maintain their existing mortgage so the existing debt stays on the property. That's what we're leveraging as creative financiers. Existing debt on properties that we don't have to go to the bank to qualify for, that we can take advantage of, period. So it wraps around the existing mortgage amount owned. As a type of secondary mortgage financing, wraparound loans mean that the buyer will make monthly payments directly to the seller, often at a higher interest rate than the original mortgage. So what this looks like is essentially this. You'll have a first position mortgage. Let's say that's at like a 4% interest rate, and it's $100K. The monthly payment is $600 a month for that mortgage payment. So we're going to approach that seller. Let's say this seller moved out of town or had a bad tenant and just is like, I'm done with this game. I'm burnt out. I'm not being a landlord. I'm not being an out of town landlord. They don't have systems in place. They don't have the right team. Like, they're just done. But they have this asset that could quickly be spit shine. Just walk in, a little bit of touch up paint, sweep the floor, put a tenant in. And they don't want that much money anymore, but they do like cash flow. So you come to them and say, well, what if I wrap your existing mortgage? Because I want to take advantage of that thing. I don't want to come and put down some large down payment or anything. I just want to step in and take over your property, solve your problem. I'm going to wrap a secondary mortgage around the property for $120K. Maybe the property's worth $125, $130. I say for $120K, I'm going to wrap it at a 6% rate on a 30-year. I'm going to pay you $900 a month. You don't even have to be a landlord anymore. I'll just take it off your hands. And I know in the back of my head, I can take this property. This guy, because he's burned out, he doesn't even know what the rents are. And you won't believe how many landlords don't raise the rent every year. Like, they don't even know what market rents are. So he thinks he can rent it for $1,200. I know I can rent it for $1,500 a month. So I go to him and say, look, take the 9. You ain't going to get $600 a month, but you don't have to manage anything. You get $300 a month. You're just the lender. You're getting value for the equity in your property and for the debt on your property. Just take the $300 and walk. I'll put it on a triple net lease. I'll control the deal. We'll wrap it with a secondary mortgage on a 30-year note. You'll get your payments, and I'll cash you out one day. I'll do a refinance as the value increases and just cash you out. $120,000. You get paid on the back end too. He's like, cool. Just wants to get away from his headache. Doesn't even want a down payment. Doesn't want anything. Just wants to get his headache going and get some cash flow while he's in retirement, while he's burnt out. So I pitch him the wraparound mortgage. The wraparound mortgage, even if somebody, we'll take it a step further, even if somebody was in distress and they couldn't make those $600 a month payments because they lost a job or whatever happened, you got sick. There's a lot of things that happen, which is why people can fall into foreclosure. Medical issues can be a top cause, right? So they're just like, I'm 3 months behind. I owe $1,800 a month. I mean, I owe $1,800, then the $600 a month. I don't have it. I'm going to lose the house in foreclosure, but the mortgage is underwater. The house is only worth maybe 95, and they owe 100 on it. Well, I say, well, look, I'll take it off you for 105. I'll give you the 900 a month, and I'll recover the back payments. I can still control that asset and then turn it around, put a tenant in it, and cash flow it without coming up with some large 10-20% down payment. So wraparound mortgages give you a lot of benefits. The benefits for the seller are you leverage the value of the existing debt as the seller, so you're getting some type of a markup on the existing debt in that mortgage wrap. You're getting cash flow off of debt. Even, like I said, even if somebody was distressed, they could put themselves in a position, if they knew how to wrap the mortgage, in a position where they now wrap the mortgage that they were distressed on, got the past due bills paid, couple grand, and are now getting $300 a month cash flow off a property that they were distressed on and going to lose in foreclosure if they had the knowledge, but they don't. So they lose it. You have cash flow without being a landlord as a seller. This frees up more of your monthly money. So that $600 that was due to this property, you now put it back in your pocket. You're in a better position. This allows you to get out of a bad deal, which we just talked about. And there are more benefits we cover, of course, in the 100 Keys Masterclass, in the creative financing breakout sessions, parts 1, 2, and 3, creative financing 101. The benefits for the buyer: you don't need a bank to qualify. Don't have to qualify with the bank. You don't need any credit to do the strategy. You can just go and find somebody who's motivated and negotiate it. They probably never heard of it. And if you can explain it decently with a decent enough pitch, they're going to see why it makes sense because of these benefits. And there's more benefits, but even those benefits are enough. You can reposition the asset for more cash flow, because most people only buy or sell a house once or twice in their year. In their life. They don't think about this stuff. They're not privy to the different strategies out there. You can get a lower mortgage rate than today's rates. So even in this wraparound mortgage that I'm talking about, maybe I'm negotiating a 5.5% mortgage, a 6% mortgage rate on a 30-year, when rates are trading at 7.5%. Because it's a creative financing deal and I have complete freedom to structure the deal, we can structure it however we want between me and the seller. As long as the numbers make sense and they're getting some value in terms of cash flow, you can negotiate a lower rate than market. You can literally negotiate whatever you can. You could negotiate something and say, I'm just going to make fixed payments of $10,000 a year for 10 years. And that's that. The house will be paid off. You could, with 0% interest. Like, you can structure this stuff however you want. And you get control without ownership. So the debt stays in the seller's name. You're controlling the asset completely. But you don't always have to own things to control them. There is control without ownership, and creative financing plays on that in many different ways. I'll get the question, what about down payments? What happens if there's a down payment required? Well, you can do transactional funding. We talked about that. There's videos in the live section here on the YouTube channel about that, so you can tap into that. You can always raise it. If you have a good deal that's going to cash flow $800 a month, and after you wrap a mortgage and put a tenant in, you can go out and raise $5,000 for a little deposit, and then just do a little payment plan with them too. So you just keep getting creative. Go raise the $5,000, give them a promissory note, give you $400 a month for 2 years, and that'll give them back a return plus interest. Maybe that's even too long. Maybe 18 months, something like that. And now you just got 2 notes. And you got the down payment, boom, $5,000. You control the asset, so you didn't even use any cash there, and then you pay everybody back off with the cash flow from the rent. So you're just doing complete leverage and deal structuring at this point. But it's not that creative financing doesn't work; it's that you need to learn how it works. It's not that there's no way to invest without cash or credit; it's that you need to learn how to do it and then go out and have the conversations. And you can just negotiate a larger monthly payment. If somebody wants a down payment, say, look, well, how about I give you an extra $80 of cash flow, or $80 a month? You can always negotiate that away. Final notes on like a wraparound mortgage, just kind of breaking down some big picture stuff. You have a first mortgage on the property, $100,000 at 4% interest, 30 years, note with a monthly payment of $600. You wrap this with a secondary mortgage of $120,000. at 6%. So you're getting an extra 2% as a seller on your first 100K, and then an extra 6% on the last 20,000. 30 years with a monthly payment of 900. The seller gets what? They get $300 a month of cash flow without being a landlord, and a $20,000 sales spread between 100K that they owe and 120 that they're wrapping a second mortgage with. It's not bad. Buyer gets control of the asset without needing a bank and has the ability to reposition the asset for additional cash flow. You could always take that rent to own it out if there's enough of a spread. So then you're like, I ain't the landlord either. I'm going to rent to own it, and then mark it up from 120 to 130 and get a $10,000 down payment. Just because you didn't have to negotiate the down payment doesn't mean you don't want it as the seller. So when you become the seller, you might say, look, 10,000 down, 10,000 down, 900 a month, done. Or you're at 900, 10,000 down, 1,200 a month, because you know it'll go for 15. So somebody's going to rent to own that. And now you're getting a $300 spread too. So there's just a lot you can do. There's just a lot you can do, guys. The next steps, if you're like, okay, well, this stuff makes sense. How do I put some of this stuff into action? Target burnout landlords or listings for rent by owner on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, any multiple listing service. Go build that list or hire a virtual assistant and pay them to build it. Target listings on the market for 100 days or more. Deals that are just sitting because somebody's probably underwater on their mortgage or wants more for the property than it's worth. But that doesn't mean that every person who knows creative financing has approached them, because very few people master the discipline anyway. There's not that much competition. Most people are just too intimidated. So you can still approach all of these people, reach out, hey, we can get a deal structured. I'm looking to just see how much is owed on the property and what the seller is looking for. And you can start to have those conversations. And if you want advanced training, on creative financing, you can tap into the group course. The group course covers creative financing and has like a heavy focus on that, and will get you the kind of advanced training on this stuff. You also have the one-on-one VIP mentorship program where we just work with you one-on-one to start to tap into these things. But guys, hopefully that information helped you guys a little bit. We'll do some Q&A if there are any questions about this. But learning this stuff, hopefully you can see just a little bit more today. Learning this stuff just gives you more tools in the toolbox. That's just one strategy. It's not even what I would argue is like the best way to even approach somebody. But it's another strategy that gives you options. And, there are going to be deals out there that you could just take over with a wrap. Just wrap it on, your own private 30-year note. Control the terms as the buyer, and put yourself in a good position. But guys, this is hopefully you guys take this stuff seriously, because knowing how to do this can not only get you out of a jam, but it can get you your first deal without cash or credit. So don't ask me like, whenever anyone again asks me, Brian, can you do a deal with no cash or credit? I've seen infomercials and I don't believe it. I'm just going to send them this video. In fact, I'm just going to send them this video. So, that's kind of that. Silverman Fox said, any Black Friday specials? No, there's not really. I don't really look at one-on-one mentorship as something like this. It's not Cyber Mondays, because it's not a cyber program. It's real. Somebody working with you one-on-one. So no, we don't do a lot of specials. Sometimes I'll throw a special out there just for the course content here and there, but the one-on-one mentorship, in fact, I tell people the price just keeps getting higher. So if you're interested in it, get in it, because I'm serving a lot of people and there's only so much time. So there's really only so many people I can work with these days. I'm getting as selective as possible. But for the people that are in, they know the game. I mean, even the game we're giving away, here, people like V know, like, wow, he's giving away gems, because she's in the mix. So she understands. She's like, whoa, like this stuff is super powerful. She's probably going to go close one of these in the next 30 days because it probably just showed her a different angle that opened up some areas that were blocked. and then you just start seeing more opportunity. This is why when I look at real estate, I'm just looking for the deals where I see the opportunity. I don't look at them one way. I'm just going to analyze them from 100 different angles until I can see, okay, there's a way to make profit off of this. And some deals don't have any angles where you can make profit. So I just leave those alone and go after the other ones. But this is why you need to learn kind of more strategies versus somebody just telling you, oh, go do Airbnb. Okay, cool. But outside of that, how do I actually get my hands on more assets and think outside of the box? So it is what it is. Roland, hey Brian, can you talk about strategies that might be good for renovated properties in which landlords just want cash? A couple properties by the same owner have been on the market for a few months. So you're saying they want just pure cash? I mean, with pure cash, if it's hard to do creative financing, because creative financing is not about leveraging cash, it's about leveraging debt. It's about people who aren't necessarily looking for cash, they're looking for cash flow. When people want cash, I mean, the best thing to do is just to negotiate them down on pricing. You're pretty much making them pay a premium for speed, being able to close in 10 days and get that cash and do what they want. And you can negotiate them down enough to maybe do what I would call like an astro flip, where you negotiate them down like 50K and then mark that up 10,000, 15,000 and just sell it to somebody at a discount where they're getting equity in the deal. Like you can do stuff like that on finished properties. There's a lot of different strategies that you can do with cash assets. People might do a seller carry back on their cash if they have a tax situation. You start talking to them, well, look, what are you going to do with, not to get in your business, but you get 400,000 cash, there's going to be a tax bill on that. What are you thinking? Would you be open to carrying some of that back on a note if I could show you how to get more value out of that cash? What if you could get a 6% return on your cash? Why not take that, right? So you start talking to people and maybe they're like, yeah, I never thought about it. I was thinking about my taxes. Now I think about it. I'm going to get crushed. Maybe I should just take the cash flow and I don't have to pay all the taxes at once. And you're like, yeah. So let's talk about a couple of options there. But you just have to have the conversation. See, I think the difference is, and why I try to show you guys the benefits for a seller, I'm always thinking about their benefit. See, I'm not talking to him about what I'm going to do with the deal or how great it is. I'm just talking about his taxes, how he can get more equity or value out of the equity that he has, value from the cash, maybe a interest rate return on the cash, become your own bank, pay less taxes. I'm talking about the benefits to the seller the whole time. And if you keep doing that, then you're going to uncover people who are interested in that. They don't know all the benefits. So you have to actually lead with benefits. If you lead with benefits, that's going to open that door where they say, okay, there's some value here. Let me keep listening. Maybe I might learn something, right? At least they'll get an education. They'll leave with a freaking creative financing education from you. That's the goal, is so that you guys can be able to explain this stuff that well to educate a seller to the level where they can make a decision. That's going to put you in the game. Then more of those conversations and you win. Do you need an attorney to structure a creative financing deal? I would say on your first couple, at least. I mean, you always want to have a real estate attorney. You need an attorney to do real estate. You need an attorney to do real estate correctly, guys. Especially if you want to scale. You need it. You need at least an eviction attorney. But usually your eviction attorney is a real estate attorney. So especially if they're a bit more freelance, even if they don't know all of creative financing, they will figure it out. They will just they will read through boilerplate contracts, case law, pull different contracts out of different agreements, and be able to build a up-to-date subject to contract that will cover you if necessary. So you can definitely do that. Like you can definitely do that. But you want an attorney around. Even before you tenant a property, you should talk to an eviction attorney. Set up a free call. Just hop on their calendar. I gotta plug the charger in. Just hop on their calendar, because most people get the eviction attorney after the tenant is already in the, delinquent on rent essentially, and you find out you don't have your paperwork together. You want to get that attorney before you even get the tenant in. So you always want to have a real estate attorney around, but you definitely want them to at least do your contract drafting. You'd rather spend a couple of K, even if you got to scrape it together on, and it doesn't have to be that expensive. I'm talking about long term. It could be $250 getting a contract drafted that is strong than not doing it and doing it the wrong way. And we can provide you with boilerplate, state-specific type of contracts that you can then go to an attorney and say, here's the boilerplate. I need you to button it up. And that cuts the costs, way down. But you definitely want to invest in that so that you have your game type. Can you use transactional lenders for hard money origination fees and transfer fees? I'm sure you could. The problem is hard money lenders like to get all up in your business. So they want to know, like, are you bringing the cash to the table? Because they're bringing a lot of leverage. I mean, most hard money lenders are bringing at least 80% to the table of the cash. They want to see you bring something. So if you try to go, let's say you get with like my 100% lender, and then they want to see you pay the friction, essentially. If they find out you're using transactional lending for the friction too, they're like, man, this guy has nothing in the deal. And they get uncomfortable because they're like, we got all our money in the deal, and you have like no skin in the game at all. So, but you're controlling it, you're building it. So it's like nerve-wracking. They're not wrong, but they're only wrong on that first deal. After that first deal, if you've proven that you can do good business, well, then they're wrong because you've already proven that you can execute. Can a blind man do everything that you're talking about now without physical sight? Probably. I don't want to say that anybody can't do anything. I think you would have to be highly reliant and build up different levels of systems with your eyes and ears. Literally, the person that you're going to send to the properties to look at them and to give you updates in different things. You would have to set up unique systems where, one, you have to have a lot of trust in that person. So you have to make sure that they're incentivized, maybe on some type of bonus or commission structure for the deals to be executed correctly. And then you would need to just have a system where that information is being communicated to you in a way where you can take action on it, where it's very, very actionable and you're getting the right types of details. But in terms outside of that, I actually think so, because putting together a house is more systematic. There's inspectors, there's different checkpoints. You can certainly learn it and execute on it. You could do it remotely. I think there are just aspects of it where you would need assistance. You would need the attorney to be handling the closings and the contracts so that you could just be like, the price is right, the numbers are right, the value's there, and just have people executing in some of those other positions where you would be relying on that. So yeah, you can definitely do it. You just need unique systems. Real estate is all about systems. If you create the right systems, you can just run that play. Omar, if what's the price for the courses and all that? If you want to tap in, just click the links in the description. You'll get plugged into everything. There's a link with a free training, and then you can tap in from there. I think a link to the group course is probably in the email. If any of you got the email invite, check your email. It could be in your spam. It'll be from Grimes Estate, but check your email, and there'll be discount links to like the group course and stuff there. And if you want to learn about the one-on-one mentorship program, you just got to dial in. I'm looking for properties in the Philly area, close to New Jersey, and flip. We'll need an attorney also. Okay. I mean, I definitely have resources, and feel free to tap in. Looking for cities where rents are $800 to $1,200 and purchase prices below $80,000. Yeah, if you're looking for that, you're thinking Baltimore, you're thinking Ohio, maybe St. Louis, maybe Chicago. There's definitely some markets. They're mostly like Northeast markets, maybe Pittsburgh, parts of Pittsburgh, potentially. So there's definitely going to be a lot of markets. Definitely Wilmington, Delaware. Definitely. So there's a bunch of markets, right? I just dropped like 5 of them. Philly, you can still catch those types of deals, but fewer and further between, because they'll need a little bit more rehab even at that price. But ones that we're talking like that are in that price, that are close to rent ready, definitely some of those markets I mentioned, there's definitely more markets as well. But they're mostly Northeast markets, row home cities, townhome cities. Isabel said, the course is my guide. Juber says, thanks. He's trying to turn me Uncle G, which I don't know. Let's see if that sticks, but maybe. But definitely happy to share some of this game. Dame says, do you think it's Dame's happening from, I believe, Canada. Do you think it's better to refinance out a subject to deal for a potential cash out surplus, or to keep the mortgage in place at a lower rate? Do you think it's better to refinance out of a subject to deal for a potential cash out surplus, or keep the mortgage in place at a lower rate? It depends on how much cash flow you're getting off the asset. It depends on, I would rather not cash out refinance, but if there's enough equity, I would rather search for or develop a private lending relationship with somebody who would extend me a line of credit that I could use that equity to asset back. So what that means is, like, let's say I went to somebody who wanted to invest in real estate. They got an old IRA with 30K in it. And out of Montreal. They got an IRA with 30K in it. And they're going to shift it to a self-directed IRA. So now I can use that money. If they want to invest in real estate with me, or do lending to me as a real estate investor, and then I'll pay back the loans from the self-directed, we can structure that. They're now going to access that equity. So I'm going to asset back their 30K with this property. So instead of taking out a refinance and killing this cheap debt to get to the equity, I'm going to unlock the equity either with a home equity line of credit with a lending institution. And if I can't find one, I will find a private investor who has some cash that they're comfortable securing with an asset-backed loan or an asset-backed line of credit. So I can now unlock 30K at another low rate. It might be like 5% interest only while I have the money outstanding. So if it's back in the IRA, I don't owe you anything. And now I didn't even disturb the cheap debt. And that's the smart way to do it. Doing the refinance, disturbing the cheap debt to get to the money, you can do it, but it's a more expensive way to do it. You're also going to incur not transfer taxes, but double closing costs when you do that refinance. Versus if I stroke a private loan or a private home equity line, it's going to be cheaper. Even a home equity line of credit with lending institutions can be cheaper than your typical refinance, I believe. Just because of the size of the loan and kind of all of those things, fees are going to be substantially lower. So you're in a much better position. That's what I would do. Knowing what I know, that's what I would do. The refinance would be my last option right now. Whenever I'm on these, I get 8 sites pulled up because you're always dropping something that's immediately useful. Definitely trying to give you guys real game. I mean, this is real game that you guys can go and apply, especially if you just want to get in this game. Like, just get in, just watch the content, tap into the mentorship program, just get in. So many people will think about mentorships for so long and just like, oh, should I invest in mentorship? Should I just put that in the house? And it's like, dude, if you knew the levels of this game, you wouldn't even be thinking like that, because like I said, our youngest masterclass member is staring down a 5-figure check like right now. So it's like the cost of mentorship versus what he's already staring down at his age and just less than a year in, and that's not his only deal right now. It's crazy. So it's just like, you don't need to think about the cost of mentorship as a hurdle you can overcome that hurdle instantly. You can overcome that hurdle very quickly. And when you do, then you just have the lifelong skill set. So it's a dual win. You're like, wow, I got all my bread back and I can now fish in this real estate market forever. That's the gift that keeps on giving. That type of gift doesn't need a Cyber Monday. It don't need a Cyber Monday. It's like, if you don't get that, then you don't get it. And that's cool. I only have time these days to work with the people who are really ready, who get it anyway. I want you guys all to be that person, but some of us aren't there yet. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. What would be more beneficial when controlling the property subject to or lease option? So which one is more beneficial to control a property, subject to or a lease option? With subject to, you're getting the property deeded over to you technically. So with a lease option, you're controlling the property through a lease, but you don't own it directly until you exercise the option and buy the property. So they're fundamentally two different strategies. I would say what gives you more control is the subject to, hands down. Like it just does. So I don't think there's any comparison there, but I think the lease purchase option is a different type of tool. Some of these tools may make sense on the buy side, may not, but they all start to make sense on the sell side when you're the seller. So you might want to buy on a wrap, sell on a lease purchase option. You might want to buy on a subject to, sell on a wrap. Like it just depends. It just depends on your goal. I don't think you get worse off with subject to. Debt stays in their name, property gets deeded over. You might get more pushback from that. So then they might say, I heard about those people trying to get me to deed over my property and I'm not touching it. And it's like, are you going to kill the deal, trying to force that? Or are you going to come back and say, well, look, I know you don't want to do that. So I have a strategy. You don't even have to transfer anything. I'm going to pay you every month. Here's the contract. We're going to send this much to the lender to make sure the mortgage is paid. Everything's good. You're going to get the rest. We're going to have a third-party company processing that. And then, within 2 years, as long as we buy the property, within 3 years, we can buy it at this price. We're going to have a guaranteed right to renew. Like you start breaking down the structure, and they're like, cool, I got what I want. You're in control. But as long as we're making the payments, you're good. We're good. We'll take care of anything that breaks. Don't worry about it. And then you just take a freaking lease purchase, option it out, rent to own. And you sit in the middle if you can carve out a good spread. So there's many ways to skin that real estate cat. There's many ways to do it. You just have to learn it, learn more of it. The more you learn of this stuff, the more it'll make sense. The more you learn of it, the more it'll make sense. And then when you see different scenarios, it'll make even more sense. Because it's a tool. It's like why you learn mathematics, so that you can solve problems. With creative financing knowledge, you can solve problems. It's like a mathematics tool set. You can do calculations, you can restructure, reposition, add interest, subtract interest, stretch out payments, condense payments, make balloon payments. You can start to structure as big as you can think. So the limit becomes you, not me. Not me. I'm going to give you the fundamentals. I'm going to give you what you need to go out and execute. But then the execution, I'll show you the steps. If you take the execution, you'll get what you want. You just got to keep going, because you don't get it yet. At the purview that a lot of you guys are at, you don't get it yet. So you might go hard for a month and you're like, I didn't get any results. You don't know that there's a 2-month delay or a 3-month delay. Hey, you're going to get paid today for what you did 3 months ago. So you stopped at month 1.5 and said, Brian, this is tough. At month 1.5, because you don't understand that you can get paid tomorrow for what you did yesterday because you're still in employee mindset where you get the check and all those different things. You don't understand that the work you put in, it will get rewarded. Just like when you get up and go to work and get the check, you get the check. It's all the same energy and the same time. It's just being applied into you versus somebody else's dream. But if you give up in month 1.5, you're going to miss the 3-month payout. Now, if you get to the 3-month payout, every month, there's going to be a payout after that because you're still working. There won't be a 3-month delay. You'll just be getting paid for what you did 3 months ago, and it'll just keep rolling. But you got to put in the time to get to where you want to go. You got to put in just a little bit of time. And you got to trust the game. You don't got to trust me. You got to trust the game. You got to trust real estate. That real estate will reward you for staying tapped in. That's what you got to trust, because that's the truth. If you apply the time, think about all the things you apply time in your life to. Don't they develop? Everything you apply your time to. Apply your time to your job. You might apply your time to your kids. Apply your time to your vacations. Apply your time to some of your hobbies. Apply your time to some TV shows. You know the TV show. You know what happened, right? You applied your time to it. You got a result out of that. If you apply your time to real estate, you get a result out of it. It's not because of your excuses about cash and credit and all these things. It's about putting in the time and staying consistent. Consistent enough to get a result. Prove it true to yourself. And then stay consistent and keep going. Get more results. Stay locked in. Stay dialed in. But the game works when you put in the work. It works. Then you say you never heard of that. He never heard of the HELOC being better than a refi, and why. That, like, we broke it down. And then even going and structuring a private note through the self-directed IRA. Like, structure a private note and asset back it. So somebody's like, well, what am I investing in? Well, it's asset backed. Here's the appraisal. So your money's double secured. We're just securing it in assets. You're going to get 5%. You're 6%. You're a lender now. And we'll keep the money liquid. Gets back in his account, get him paid back, get him his cash flow. He's going to be happy. Hey, I took my IRA. I'm getting $400 a month cash flow. Not even connected to the stock market. That's good diversification. You know, like these things are good for people. So you can structure your own deals out here. You guys just have to think bigger. Stop worrying. Like, there's two forms of energy. One is worrying about my obstacle. So I keep researching my obstacle. I keep running into brick walls. I'm not ready to overcome it. I'm worried about my obstacle. And then one is focusing on all of the opportunities and the ways that go around whatever your perceived obstacle is, and just focusing on learning more about that, how to go around your obstacles. I'm just learning around how to go around them, not just worrying about them and staying stuck in paralysis through analysis. But now I'm learning all the active ways to navigate them and then taking the actions to go around them, which is part 2. Learning it, 1, 2, actually taking action steps and going out and getting battle tested a little bit and learning more and coming back and continuing and sticking with it. And then you get a result. Now you've proven it. Now go do it 100 times. Now get out of the way and go do it 100 times. Ace, sorry about that rant, but I mean, I think that got through to somebody. Ace Du said mentorship is definitely worth it. Knowledge is power. And he's living it because he's out doing all types of deals. Jubert, blessed to have you as a mentor, Uncle G. Definitely appreciate you. Happy to be a part of the journey, bro. And looking forward to getting you some more results. When you said this before, I fell on the floor. LOL. I can't wait to get that. Yeah, send me the contracts. I really wonder how you became the beast in this game that you are. It's just from going through battle, but it's also because of you guys. I was on a podcast today, and they're like, Brian, like, you're just touching all of these different passions. Like, are you going to stick with the coaching, and how's that going? I was just like, man, my people keep me dialed in at such a crazy level that I don't want to let them go. It's like, it's just about staying dialed into the game. But it's like, I think partially a lot of you guys have made me a beast. because I had to learn even more about this game over the course of time to solve a lot of your problems. So being around you guys has helped me to solve more problems because you guys come to me with the same problems. And you're like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, I can't get this. Can't get this going. And then it's like, boom, I start tapping into your problems and solving them. And at every problem I solve for myself, I can solve for you guys. So it's just a total give back. But it really is you guys presenting me with more challenges than even my activity, which is a lot of activity presents. So now my learn rate is much higher than most people's because my challenge rate is higher. It's just higher. But it's kudos to you guys. And that's why we just gotta keep feeding each other at the end of the day. You got a lot of you guys, like I said, I might be a benchmark for some people to want to achieve. Hey, he did 300 deals. Hey, he's working on this. Some people want to achieve that, but I'm not the limit. Somebody can take this knowledge, go out and do 1,000 deals, start a freaking REIT. And I don't care. There's more than enough to go around. They can start a REIT, still be more than enough to go around. Doesn't matter. There's not going to be enough of us out there. 100 Keys Masterclass class minded people out there for it to ever matter. That's the secret. Even if I build thousands or more masterclass students, there still won't be enough for the deals to dry up. There's so much opportunity out there. Beyond even abundance mindset. There's so much opportunity out there, guys. Just stay tapped in. Like really just stay tapped in to yourself, not even to me. Stay tapped into this knowledge for sure, because we're dropping major gems. This was probably like a $500 class, realistically. Like, not even joking with you guys. Like, there are people who would charge you probably $1,000 to $1,500 for this live. Like they will take this thing, clip it out in a course, essentially, go a little bit deeper, charge you about $500 to $1,500 just for that, and then some other giveaways that I probably already hit you guys with. Just keep it 100. Like, I'm dead serious too. And you can go do your research. You'll find out. Yes, just get in. I did at the moment. Everything in my life is crumbling. And I'm so glad to have BG to return to now that things have settled down. If I'd have hesitated, nada. Facts. Scared money don't make money. And like I said, I'm happy to be a part of all of my people's journey. One of the blessings is that I actually get to work with you guys one-on-one, and I can be a part of that journey as you guys are leveling up, restabilizing, repositioning. We're all going through, everybody goes through stuff, right? Everybody's going through internal drama, family drama, work drama, dealing with the kids, surviving the holidays, like just trying to stay afloat and have enough energy. But being able to tap in and be a part of the level ups, I get to watch as everybody evolves as well, which is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Thank you for the explanation. I appreciate you and your advice. Definitely, guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, and share the content with somebody else who you want to get value as well. Somebody who you think should learn how to invest in real estate without cash or credit. Even think about somebody young. Think about somebody who's 18 even, who's like probably not going to do much. Try to get them into real estate. They could change their whole trajectory. Like, try to get them, hey, you need to tap into some of this. You should be sharing things with people like that as well to try to build up their education. Because knowledge of real estate is knowledge of wealth in America. Essentially all wealth in America is built through real estate. So if you are a person or come from a community where people don't know about real estate, which is a lot of communities, then you don't know about wealth. And they ain't going to teach it to you in school. There we go. Everybody, please like and subscribe if you're enjoying Brian's content. Let's increase Brian's algorithm. That's a fact. Get it out to more people. Yeah, Mike Morgan said, hey, Brian, I've been a mentee for a little over 2 years. Thanks, because we're starting to get years on this thing. And I thank you because you're always available and continually give out free diamonds and rubies. Keep doing what you're doing. This masterclass guy, who was our early masterclass member, tapped in super early. Philly area guy. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I tell people all the time, a lot of our mentees will just stay tapped in, stay locked in, reach out here and there with different questions as they're leveling up. And I still got your back. We're still here. We're still here. Isabel said, you taught me abundance mindset applies to everything. So grateful. Facts. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you carry over a scarcity mindset in one area of your life, you're going to bring it into real estate. And then you'll be arguing with me because I'm too abundance mindset for you, because I know too much about the different opportunities out there. I know so much that it's like there is no scarcity. But that will be a point of contention until you come over to the side of, you learn a little bit more, you get more abundance, and then you see the benefit of that abundance mindset, that you're actually getting more opportunities, seeing more deals, and taking more at bats, and that's what leads to you getting that first deal. It's just consistency. Real estate is a test, just like everything else. Sports, a lot of these things are tests. So you just gotta stick with it, pass the test. So guys, looks like we've been going for about an hour now. I wanted to bring this format to us to see, you guys can give some feedback on the format if you like it. A lot of people learn better with the PowerPoints. So I wanted to add that component to today. If you got value, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to learn about the ride along that we're doing January 13th, click the links in the description, tap into the ride along. That's January 13th, 8 a.m. to probably like 5 p.m. We're going to see as many deals as we can. We're going to inspect properties together. Going to take a tour of the city of Philadelphia, a private tour with like-minded investors. And we're going to show you guys how to build houses, the cost of construction, how to put them together, how long it takes, what to look out for, how to build construction crews, how to be your own GC, how to pull permits, how to redesign properties, how to connect with architects, engineers, permit expediters, all of that. I'm going to teach you a whole game. And then lace you up with course content if you're not in the masterclass already. So it gives you a ton of value. If you want to learn more about the Boots on the Ground program, and just say, Brian, look, I'm busy, but I got a little bit of cheddar on the side, a little bit of cash. Just build a house for me. And show me how to scale up there. Then you can reach out. Just click the links in the description and tap in, and you can reach out there. And that'll kind of get you guys laced up as well. And that's about that, guys. O says staying tapped in knowledge is powerful when you apply it. Facts. Oh, we still got to get you tapped into the boots on the ground too, and get you something flowing. But yeah, that's that, guys. Let's stay locked in. This was another solid session, so make sure you share that if you want somebody to learn this game, and watch it over again if you're trying to get started with no cash, no credit investing. Watch it twice, watch it 3 times. There's going to be some things that go over your head the first time, so you just want to make sure you give yourself a shot. Hope this helps. Brian Grouch, your real estate mentor. I'll see you guys on the next one.